Hi, okay, so today I want to talk about the pharmaceutical industry, the medical industry, the conventional medical model, and medications, vaccines, pharmaceuticals. And I just want to make my position clear on this. Um, so, I have been medically harmed by, I've been harmed by conventional medicine. I've been harmed by medications. I've been harmed by pharmaceuticals. And I've also chosen to not vaccinate my children. I was vaccinated, and my children have been vaccinated when they were infants up to the age of 3. And now I've chosen to go ahead and opt out of the vaccines. And I just want to be clear, I'm not anti-medical conventional model. I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm not even anti-pharmaceutical, even though I have been harmed by pharmaceuticals. And this is what I am. I want to be clear on what I am, just so that people who watch this video, who follow me, who have questions, who are curious, understand where I'm coming from. I'm not anti-pharmaceutical. I'm pro information. I'm pro science. I'm pro science. I'm pro for the studies. I'm pro for all the scientific proof out there that something that works and doesn't harm people. I'm also pro choice. So I believe, freedom is at stake. Freedom is the most important thing here. And when it comes to something like, let's just take vaccines, I believe that the right to choose, what I promote is the right to choose. Whether you get vaccines or don't get vaccines isn't the real issue. The issue is that you should have the right to do your own research, to have informed consent from the doctor, which means you're given all the information on the pros and the cons that the pharmaceutical and the doctors provide. These are the benefits as we know them. This is the scientific literature, and it's not censored. It's not hidden information. It's not select information that from studies funded by themselves. It's real information that you're given a chance to do your own research. And then also that informed consent should allow you to decline the vaccine should you have done the research and you choose that is not the option that you want to go. Informed consent means you have been given the information, you've been given the chance to research the information for yourself, and then you make a decision. And that decision could be, yes, I want to go ahead with the schedule of the vaccines, or I want to spread them out, or this is what I would like to do, or no, I'm going to opt out. And I think that you should have the right to choose. You shouldn't be forced. You shouldn't be forced and mandated or bullied or coerced or being treated bad or being made to feel guilty should you choose to opt out. And I think that the facts and the information is buried on how harmful vaccines can be, pharmaceuticals can be, the number of injuries and deaths and that occur from pharmaceuticals, like taking antidepressants, benzodiazepines, even statins, all kinds of pharmaceuticals that are deemed safe by the pharmaceutical industries, who are also making the laws, who are sitting on the boards, of the CDC and the FDA, making these approvals and putting these laws into action. And I don't think that's right. What I am pro is pro-freedom, pro-choice, pro the ability to say no and to not have your freedom taken away. Now, I understand that pharmaceuticals and medical, the conventional model, has helped people, and it's helped me in many circumstances. I wouldn't have my 2 children. They're both IVF babies had I not followed the medical conventional model. Right? I know people. My husband's mother has had, a successful surgery in the past. She's had a successful cancer treatments with chemo and radiation, and she's now cancer-free. I've also had the opposite. I've had my own mother who died at the hands of chemotherapy from the treatment. So I'm not saying what is right for you or what is wrong for you, but I do know that each person, parent, mother, child, and person should be able to sit in the doctor's office, have the information presented to them, the risks and the benefits, go home and be able to do the research, and then come back and say, yes, I'm for it, or no, I'm against it. And that just is common sense to me. You shouldn't be forced into taking these things. You shouldn't have your rights taken away. And, you shouldn't be mandated. I mean, with vaccines for this, herd immunity, and how they're trying to take away exemptions and to force people into herd immunity for the weak and the vulnerable, the old, the young, the babies, the old people, the people going through chemotherapy, who they say if this herd immunity isn't in place, then those people's healths are at risk. And that's not good. I agree. But what makes them more valuable than the people, the thousands of people who are going through these vaccines and getting injured by them, dying, maimed, whatever, that those are not being reported or calculated or shown to anybody else who's getting vaccines. But what happens, they're also vulnerable. They're also vulnerable, and they're as important as the young, the old, and the sick that we need to protect. The people who simply can't get these vaccines, who can't go through the schedule without being injured, who can't take the pharmaceuticals, who can't take the mental pharmaceutical health drugs that are prescribed to them, or the diabetes or the heart medications, whatever that's being prescribed to them. There's people being injured and dying all over the world, and they have the right to know this information. They have the right to choose for themselves, and they shouldn't be forced in any way to take or not take, to use or not use. They should be able to either do it, not do it, or change it to what works for them. Use, some vaccines, or maybe I like this one, I don't want this one, and so it's mostly the rights of the human being, of that each person is valuable. Each person, there's not one more valuable than the other, that each person's rights are at stake, and nobody's more valuable than the other. The people who want the herd immunity are not more valuable than the people who don't. Each life is important, and there are so many people who have been harmed by these medications, and it's just not talked about. It's not shown. It's not put out there in the public. And now choices and freedoms are being taken away, and it's wrong. It's absolutely 100% wrong. And that's my position. My position is not anti-medical establishment. My position is not anti-vaccine. My position is you should have the right to use it or not use it. You should have the right to use it when it suits you, to use it when you feel good about it, to use it when you feel like your research measures up to what you want. But you should not be, like a child who gets cancer and their parents are choosing not to go the conventional medical route, or God forbid not do the chemotherapy but do something else. The right should not be taken away. The child should not be taken away from them, and the forced chemotherapy on this child. It's just same with the vaccines. It's a slippery slope. It's taking away human rights and freedoms, and the studies are not transparent. They're not showing both sides of the issue. They're showing one side, funded by the people making the products, who it's a $30 to $50 billion industry a year. So you tell me, it's about profits, it's about business, it's a big business, and that's not what I'm about. I'm not about big business. I'm not about big pharma. I'm not about, I'm just not about the deals or the businesses that go on to keep all these laws in place, and to keep people's rights and human rights and the knowledge that they need in order to make the proper decisions away from them. So while I have been harmed personally by medications, by pharmaceuticals, and I also know other people who have been personally. I also know people who have been personally helped by the conventional medical model. So I am not here choosing for you. I'm here saying you have the right to choose for yourself, and you have the right to get the information, do the research, and know for yourself what you believe in, and make a choice that resonates with your heart. And I don't think people are given